So I didn't see this coming, but we have Piers Morgan, who is breaking his silence and speaking about a lot of matters that I find to be quite interesting. Hey guys, it's Murad Murali. Hopefully you guys are doing well today. Back at again with another video. If you haven't subscribed, guys, click that button for daily and consistent content. Head over to my Instagram, my Patreon, my merch. Subscribe, guys. It's just one click for fresh new content every day. So Piers Morgan is on the Carl Tucker show and is obviously in the US talking about the ITV scenario, what had happened in Meghan Markle. Now this is his first time breaking his silence formally. This is his first time actually conducting an interview post that dramatic situation that took place after the interviews. Those days were crazy. They
values freedom of speech. I should be allowed to say, I'm sorry, I don't believe you. But I wasn't. I wasn't allowed to do that. Used by Oprah Winfrey. This is your truth. What does that mean? When do we get to your truth? This is the kind of defense that was the kind of thing we would hear liberals attack Donald Trump for.
A lot was going on in that time period, but this is what he really is going on about, and I can understand to an extent what he's trying to talk about. I can see it, but at the end of the day, he isn't able to see where he has gone wrong. He does admit, though, that it was actually a firing, because that's what Carl Tucker said. I believe his name is Carl Tucker, I believe his name is. And, you know, he did obviously reflect the fact that ITV fired him, and he didn't negate that.
They're oppressed. They have more power than you. They got you fired, but you're oppressing them.
He didn't oppose it. He continued on with the conversation, whereas publicly said that he left the show obviously for an ego boost. But when Carl Tucker talked about a firing that took place, he didn't actually argue it. So that in itself obviously shows that I believe that is what really happened behind the scenes, that he got fired from the show, or fired. I don't think he was fired from ITV as a brand or as a network. He still is working with their shows in terms of other shows, but when it comes to specifically Good Morning, I don't know, Good Morning Britain, ITV Morning, I don't know, some morning, I don't know what the name is. The fact that he got fired from there is, I find, to be quite troubling. And of course, Alex Beresford did replace him on a temporary basis, and that was quite interesting because Alex was the one that basically engineered the firing, because he, got up. Piers Morgan is accountable for his own actions, but it's just very fitting how Alex Beresford obviously replaced him. Then he goes into the notion of talking about Meghan Markle.
You anywhere. I don't believe Meghan Markle. Now, what I didn't know, and what was a fascinating thing to discover after I left, was that Meghan Markle, between the Monday and Tuesday, had made a personal complaint to the boss of ITV.
Talking about the fact that he actually didn't know, it was unbeknownst to him that she went and made personal complaints to Ofcom and to ITV. Now that was interesting. I didn't expect him to even address that. He said that he was very shocked by that and that she was trying to do something here and there. And he also reflects in the interview, that we were all very happy when a non-white person came into the royal family. Now we all know that is a damn lie. Okay, that is a damn lie. What kind of facetious nonsense is this guy, not facetious, sorry, what kind of fictitious nonsense is this guy talking about, that everybody in the UK was happy, that we were all jubilant that a non-white person was entering the royal family?
The press coverage of these two right up to the wedding was completely over the top euphoric. Everyone in Britain was thrilled that finally we were having a non-white bride in the royal family. It hadn't happened. We were all very happy about this.
That is not how it was going down at all, and the disparity of institutionalized racism that we saw in these newspapers, that we saw in these articles, that we saw everywhere, from how they treated Meghan Markle as opposed to Kate Middleton, was absolutely diabolical. Diabolical. So this understanding that everybody in the UK was happy and about the notion of a non-white person coming in, no, people here were perplexed. They were worried. They felt uncomfortable. They didn't like it. They thought she was the wrong one, or a wrong kind of person or whatever. This is what a lot of people in the UK thought. So if you're going to want to do an interview, stick to the facts. Then he obviously goes into the notion of freedom of speech. Freedom of speech does not come with the idea of freedom of consequences. There's nothing going to come about from it. If I'm going to somebody's funeral and I'm sitting there laughing and taking the piss out of them over the act of freedom of speech, there's going to be a reaction from somebody who's going to be upset. That is a consequence. And we have the same notion when it comes to this. You can't run your mouth to the point where you're talking about Meghan Markle in such a reference to say that you're even denying the mental health journey that she has gone through on a platform that is meant to value mental health, especially when it comes to shows like Love Island. It creates a sense of hypocrisy. It's something that you just simply cannot do. You cannot sit there and deny the fact that at one point she wanted to take her own life, because if it was your son he was saying all of this and somebody was denying that, you wouldn't like it, or even if it was yourself. It's something that I feel to be very hypocritical, not valuing mental health, not valuing the fact somebody wants to take their own life. That in itself, that for me was the icing on the cake. That for me was the part where I feel like this guy's gone too wrong. You can disagree, whatever, but that is very unnecessary, because the brand, the network, that is, we are now damaging the brand. You're now damaging the network to such a level when they obviously are trying to promote mental health at a time like this. It just doesn't make any sense. Then he had the idea and the audacity to quote Winston Churchill when it comes to a democratic state and when it comes to freedom of speech. I didn't realize we were quoting white supremacists in reference to freedom of speech, when this guy believed that Aryan people, white people, were going to triumph over everybody. This person also believed that he didn't care for people who were brown, South Asian, Arab, who thought they were filth or whatever. This person who was boasting about, you know, the minor deaths when it comes to the black South Africans, when we had over 14,000 deaths. Like, it's just horrific, a lot of the things he would, you know, boast about, killing people in Sudan, trying to reconquer it. Very imperialism nonsense from the British Empire. So I find that to be quite ridiculous that he would even have the audacity to want to quote Winston Churchill, and because he within itself, I'm sorry, is a waste man. And you know what, retract that apology, I'm not even sorry, with my chest, he's a waste man. And I feel like every day we have these protests going on and the Met Police want to be clowns and guard around Winston Churchill's statue as if anybody's even going to go for the statue. Nobody's even going that way. So you're creating a false sense of nonsense and just heightening tension. I don't know why they even need to do that. Anyways, I didn't expect him to break his silence. He seems very heated and upset when it comes to this, screaming about the woke brigade, woke brigade. That particular word, woke, what does it even mean at this point? Everybody is using it left, right, center for some kind of excuse or for some kind of people, and it doesn't even make sense. But anyways, let me know your thoughts are when it comes to this. This interview was very heated and very, very irritating for a lot of people. But I feel like, you know, deep down, he is quite annoyed that he's basically lost a major job. He's lost his time. He's been fired. The fact that Carl Tucker said that a firing took place and he didn't negate that, he didn't argue against it, but he's been refuting that everywhere when it comes to his own public platforms, I find to be interesting. Let me know your thoughts are, guys, when it comes to this. What are your thoughts on the Piers Morgan interview when it comes to Meghan Markle? Subscribe to the channel, click that button for daily and consistent content, and I'll catch you guys soon for another video.